Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.
It's time to get educated on your Second Amendment right. It's time to get locked and loaded with 2 full hours of Gun Sports Radio. Your hosts Dave Stahl, Lance Pelkey, and Michael Schwartz will teach you anything and everything there is to know about firearms, self-defense, and the laws that affect your American right to own and bear arms. Visit gunsportsradio.com with your questions and comments, or to learn how to become a sponsor and or guest of the show. Now, here's your hosts, Dave, Lance, and Michael.
All right, folks. Hey, this is FM 96.1 AM 1170. We are the answer. And, I got to tell you, we really, really, really want to thank, everybody at the table for blowing us out. Our sponsor is Firearms Legal. Firearmslegal.com. I mean, I'm telling you, you definitely need to be protected. Firearms Legal Protection is a legal defense program for lawful gun ownership with a 24/7 emergency hotline and plans designed specifically for firearm ownership. Firearm Legal Protection is the best legal protection for self-defense. You need to be ready if that knock on the door comes to take your guns away using red flag laws. Talk to the good folks at Firearms Legal Protection today. That's firearmslegal.com, firearmslegal.com, or you can call them at 469-310-9100. Another great new sponsor is TDT Construction. For over a decade, TDT Construction has completed multifamily and residential projects exceeding $25 million of construction dollars and 500,000. I don't know what SF stands for. Square footage. I guess I should know that. Our success is built on a common sense approach. Complete projects on schedule with budgets with an exemplary safety record. Go to tdbuild.com. And then another new sponsor, we can't thank them enough, is CCW USA. Protect yourself and your family while traveling. California multi-state CCW permit training now. Legally carry your concealed handgun in over 33 states. Regular CCW permit classes held weekly in San Diego County. No specific state residency required for a multi-state permit. So make sure you check those guys out at ccwusa.com. Hi, guys.
How's it going?
I'm ready to rock and roll. Are you guys ready to rock and roll?
Our first 2-hour show, right?
It's our first 2-hour show, and boy, do we have an action-packed show coming up, and especially on the second hour. So make sure and stay tuned.
Yeah, we have all kinds of cool stuff coming up. We're in the next segment, we're going to be interviewing a candidate for San Diego City Council, and then we're going to have, of course, John Dillon's going to call in.
Right.
Joe Dramisi's going to talk about his latest blog. We also have David Chong calling in to do a review. It's an action-packed show.
Yeah. It really is. Really is.
Cool.
Really is.
So who we got for the first?
In the next segment is going to be a city council, somebody running for city council. Her name's Dani. We'll get to her. But before, I want to remind everybody that coming up Tuesday, November 19th, the 20th, so the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st, that whole week are San Diego County Gun Owners monthly meetings.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And then the following week, on the November 20, actually on the 21st this month, normally the fourth Thursday is the Fallbrook meeting, but because we have a holiday coming up called Thanksgiving, we've decided to move it to the 21st. So there's a lot going on that week. So check out our website at SanDiegoCountyGunOwners.com and you'll see.
So you're in North County, Central County, and South Bay.
Yes, and Fallbrook, 4 meetings.
Wow.
So yeah, North County, South County, Central, and Fallbrook, this is where we plan. This is where you educate your friends. So bring a friend, bring yourself if you've never been, and have a lot of fun and learn about what we're doing because there's so much going on in the county, from city councils banning the way you store your guns to all kinds of exciting stuff that we can make a difference if we get involved.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. Yeah, and also you have the voters guide that you're just coming out with.
Just announced it on Friday. Did you guys see it?
I did.
What'd you think?
It looks terrific. We got our buddy Joel Anderson and his pretty face right up there.
Yeah, Joel Anderson running for supervisor out in East County. Mm-hmm. He of course was state senator and he was in the assembly. Joel's actually a really good example of why we do what we do, because Joel started out on a water board, which how many Second Amendment decisions does a water board member make? Well, not a lot, right? Probably none. But now where is he? Now he's been in the Assembly, he's been in the State Senate, and now he's running for County Board. And all three of those positions, you make a lot of decisions on Second Amendment issues. Right. So that's why we do what we do. We make sure that all these local boards and councils are pro-Second Amendment.
Yeah, that's so important because people don't realize that someone on a water board or a school board, maybe there's 5,000 population in that area, and out of that only 2,000 people maybe vote, and out of that 20% of the 2,000 might actually vote. So you're down to 400 votes, and
next thing you know, a few hundred votes make the difference over who gets to make decisions.
Our guy needs 201, and the San Diego County gun owners, we got a few of those guys, and we're winning races. It's so important. Your vote really does matter, and you really should get to those meetings that Michael's putting on, because if you haven't been one to before, you'll meet a lot of people, and I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions and.
Well, you'll meet a lot of like-minded people,
sure.
And that's one thing we need to do is be a little bit more solidified in the cause, because everybody, the other side is.
Absolutely, they are. And by the way, you can find the voter guide if you go to our website, SanDiegoCountyGunOwners.com, or if you go to our Facebook page, or if you get on our email list, and support those candidates.
Now, now does that just cover San Diego, or does it include the back hills too?
It's all over the county.
San Diego County.
But that's a good question, because this is our first version of our voter guide. We're going to add some folks in January. This first round were candidates that we've endorsed before, or candidates like Dustin Trotter out in Santee. Of course, we've endorsed him before as well, but Dustin was our second member ever, and Dustin has been extremely supportive of Second Amendment. These are people that we're extremely comfortable with, people that we know very well. They've actually done things to support the Second Amendment.
And they actually did what they said they were going to do.
Because
we've run into a couple that have promised you, I'll do this for you, not to worry, Michael. And then when they get in front of a microphone or a camera, they flip it.
Right. You're not going to see John McCann from Chula Vista on this list, because he was a terrible liar who voted against the Second Amendment.
Yeah, when he said he would.
Said he would, and did not. So, but that's the kind of thing, we vet them out, and we hold their feet to the fire. Some of these votes, like with John McCann, that would have gotten by everybody if no one was paying attention.
Sure.
So
it sure would have.
And my way of looking at this voter guide is, if you don't see somebody on the voter guide that's running, that's a good reason.
Yeah, there's a good reason why they're not.
That's
on.
like if you're looking at a restaurant list and all of a sudden your favorite restaurant isn't over there.
Yeah,
might be because there's a problem with that restaurant.
But it's important that you download that voter guide.
Yes,
it's important that you download that voter guide now, and then send it to your friends, because
have
they don't know who to vote for.
Have conversations.
Yeah, absolutely, because you start winning. People start voting the voter guide. We start winning races. As Michael said, they matriculate up. From water boards to city council meetings and members and that kind of thing.
Well, we talk a lot about hey, we got to get more organized, we got to get more active. Okay, so what does that mean? All right, well, here's a voter guide we can coalesce around. Right. And of course, again, we're going to add more people in January, but there are, I don't know, at least it does look like 20 people on this list. There's somebody across the county, school board members, county board, city council, that you can pick and get involved. Call them up. Get involved with their campaign. Yeah. Get involved with San Diego County Governor, so we can
get a sign in front of your house. From that member. Walk their precincts. Send them money. Send them $5, $10, $500, whatever the case may be. All of you need to support somebody, because if you don't, they're going to continue to take your rights away. So,
and later on in the show, we're actually going to have a report from Sam, the gunman.
The gunman.
He's going to talk about how he went to the Second Amendment rally in Washington, D.C. yesterday.
Did he?
And he's going to give us a report. But that's just an example of, how, people getting involved, people getting organized. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the pluses and there are a lot of pluses that he's going to talk about. There's a couple of minuses, too. And we're going to talk about that as well.
All right, let's take a quick break, folks. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio. 2 hours of education. You can always go to gunsportsradio.com for more information, and we'll be downloading the shows. And I think San Diego County gun owners will download them as well.
Yeah, they get posted to his website.
Cool. Is that where they go to his website?
They go to ours.
All of
his.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. This is FM 96.1, AM 1170. The Answer. Folks, hey, welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio. We've blown out to 2 hours, so sit back and relax, and you'll be able to catch the show at SanDiegoCountyGunOwners.com. Just check these guys, SDCGO.com.
.org. SDCGO.org.
Oh, it's .org. Oh,
it's San Diego County GunOwners.com or SDCGO.org.
All right, very good. And by the way, this segment's brought to you by U.S. Law Shield. Go to www.uslawshield.com. This the U.S. and Texas Law Shield organization was founded in 2009 when a group of pioneer lawyers became fed up with the hostility and abuse in the legal system directed toward responsible gun owners. Every day they saw innocent people suffering the terrible consequences of someone else's choice to commit crimes. And to make matters worse, those people were tied up in the legal system, struggling to defend themselves. For defending themselves, innocent people were experiencing financial duress, bankruptcy, or worse, or all go to jail. So go to www.uslawshield.com. And then, of course, our good buddies, Cali Key. Nobody does it better than Cali Key. There's a simple way to fix up your AR. For those of us in California, lawful AR ownership is increasingly under attack. California assault weapons laws makes it impossible to legally keep your AR rifle with the features it was born with. What's the solution? It's Cali Key. The Cali Key removes your rifle from the definition of an assault weapon by converting any mil-spec direct impingement AR platform rifle into a straight pull bolt action rifle. It's a true drop-in solution. In less than a couple of minutes, you are good to go. No milling, no aesthetic modifications, no turning off your gas system either. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford with Cali Key. That's Cali Key, K-A-L-I-K-E-Y, K-A-L-I-K-E-Y. And another great new sponsor, PRMI Mortgage at Primary Residential Mortgage Alpine, up where I live. They're dedicated to ensuring each customer has a great experience. Our local home loan originator has decades of combined experience in the mortgage industry and can help you with a variety of needs. From helping you find the right mortgage based on your financial factors to closing things out and getting you the perfect home for you and your family. That's www.primères.com/alpine.com, and make sure you tell them you heard it right here on Gun Sports Radio.
All right. So we have our first guest. Our guest is calling guest Dani Walker, Texas Ranger. No, she's not a Texas Ranger, but Dani Walker is a candidate for San Diego City Council District 3, which that's your district,
that's
right?
That's where I live.
That's where you live. You're in the district there. It's currently the person there is a guy named Chris Ward, and Chris Ward is basically outwardly hostile, not just towards San Diego County gun owners, not just towards gun owners in general, but towards the Second Amendment. I mean, he's truly one of the extremists in local politics here in San Diego. So Dani is running to unseat him, and I thought that we would have her on the show to talk about that. Dani, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I hear you perfectly. Now, Dani, you are,
awesome.
I, of course, jokingly said you're Dani Walker, Texas Ranger. Not a Texas Ranger, but you're originally from Texas, right?
Yes, I am. And that's my joke, too. And that's how I order my Starbucks as well.
So what brought you? So you're in the great state of Texas. What brought you here to California?
Oh, man. So ever since I was a kid and we came here, I went, gosh, this is exactly where I want to be. I love Texas. It's such a place that there's a lot of togetherness, but I just knew that, I needed to be in California, that this was where my tribe was. This is where my people are. And I spent my whole life trying to get here as fast as I could.
Well, good. Well, we're happy to have you. Now, you're looking to run for city council. You've never held public office before, right?
Absolutely.
And
yes.
you're not affiliated with a party, right? You're not affiliated with the Republican Party. You're not affiliated with the Democratic Party.
So honestly, I will tell you, for years I've been a registered Republican. I got to the point where I just feel like everything is very, very split, and I want to speak to people in general. And for me, Second Amendment right is a nonpartisan issue, 100%. And so I'm actually running as an independent that leans right, which makes me very different than all of the other competitors running in the primary that pretty much have the exact same platform. You know, they're all Democrats. They are all kind of, you know, touting for the exact same thing. So we really do have an advantage being able to speak for so many people. Well,
we're nonpartisan. In fact, I frequently refer to the Republican Party as the second worst Second Amendment party out there.
Right.
But so I think that's great. Now, you submitted a questionnaire that we asked you about your views on the Second Amendment, and I just wanted to read everybody the first line you wrote here. This is what holds our democracy. Sure, this is what holds our democracy intact, and we have to continue to make choices that protect that basic fundamental right. Now, that is a fantastic statement when it comes to the Second Amendment, and I agree wholeheartedly. But how did you come to your views on Second Amendment issues?
Well, you have to understand that if we wanted to be like Europe, we wouldn't have left Europe. So we created a democracy so that the people were in control of the government. And in order to keep a democracy, the people have to maintain control. And I feel the exact same way about data rights and things like that and surveillance. So Second Amendment falls right into that. I believe that in order to have true freedom, is freedom of choice and the freedom for you to be able to find your path on your own as a citizen, and the freedom to protect yourself and to be able to take care of your own home and to take care of yourself. The government is really there to supplement in case something is needed. But it takes too long to call the government, specifically out in Texas. You know, if you wait to call the police, you'll end up dead. So for me, I think that gun rights are very, very important. I think it's important for you to be responsible for your own self and your own home, especially responsible gun ownership. So the more educated people are on this, I really, truly do not believe that most Americans are bad people. I don't think that there's always going to be villains out there, but the average person with the right education and respect for something, and they understand how it benefits themselves, is more powerful than ever. And I feel like a lot more people should own guns, especially here in California.
Well, and you said that we asked you about concealed carry permits in our questionnaire, and your response was the government is there to supplement safety, not be your everything protection. I want more women to be active gun members after the Me Too movement. And, by the way, I do want to emphasize, too, we keep talking about how you're from Texas. A lot of people in California are from somewhere else. I mean, California is your home. You've been here for years now, right?
Yeah, I've been working out of California since I was 18 years old, flying back and forth, meeting with cosmetic corporations. And I've lived here for about 7 years now. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you're. It's not like you flew in yesterday. I mean, you're a permanent California resident. You love your new home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere.
So tell us just a little bit about your district, District 3 in San Diego. What are the demographics? Whereabouts? Let's start with where is it? What neighborhoods make up District 3?
Oh, it's some of the. I'm sorry you don't live here, but it's some of the greatest areas. So we've got downtown, Old Town San Diego, University Heights, Hillcrest, North Park, South Park, Golden Hill, and Normal Heights. And Balboa Park is there, but nobody lives in, some people live in Balboa Park, but most people are not supposed to live in Balboa Park.
So, they're not. So when you go to these neighborhoods and you tell them, hey, and I know you have a lot of other views, and I know that you're not leading with Second Amendment views, but it's something that's very important to you. I understand that. But when you do talk to people about, all the different priorities that you have, how do you explain to people in those neighborhoods why the Second Amendment is something that's important to you?
There's actually a lot of reasons why. And I think that people would be really shocked to know how many people are in support of the Second Amendment, but are just really afraid to stand up for it and really afraid to talk about it. And, luckily I have, pretty thick skin, so that's not a problem that I have. Most people are pretty much in favor as long as it doesn't, if they have an issue with guns, that's fantastic. They go, I don't want to own a gun. Or they just pretty much say, I've never shot a gun. I've never had a gun. Mm-hmm. It's mainly because they've just never grown up in a house or experienced it or ever had any type of situation where their back was against the wall where they needed have a gun.
No, has it come up in the campaign so far, or tell us a little bit about your experience in Second Amendment questions so far in your campaign?
I find that I have a lot of really amazing friends that are pretty leftist who have spent a significant amount of donations on my campaign already. And they always say, we may not agree, Dani, but we know that you'll come up with a thoughtful response to everything. And I think one of the biggest things that's not being addressed in my personal experience is the mental illness. It is just not being addressed at all. Everyone's kind of just brushing it under the rug and going, everybody has mental illness, and that's really not being addressed. So we really need somebody to stand up on the forefront and say, and then we're also addressing this and going to figure out why we're having so many issues with people who are, like I said, feel like they need to. Their fears are pretty much the villain mentality. Like, what they have seen in the media and in the news, they're fearful of their children's schools. They are fearful of being out at a concert. They're fearful of, these small snippets of certain things. Yeah,
well, and part of the reason for that fear is that they have adults with an anti-gun agenda. They keep telling them that they should be afraid that, this is something that, is happening far more often than it is.
But if they would bring, Dani, I'm old enough to remember psychiatric hospitals. And they were all over the place. I mean, everywhere you looked, there was a psychiatric hospital. Well, when they closed all the doors on psychiatric hospitals and dumped them in the streets, there's a problem right there. We need to bring back psychiatric hospitals and help these people.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, I mean, if you sit there and kind of take into the equation, if anybody knows physics, you have A plus B equals C, right? Or no, that's math. But if you've got, we've had guns forever, we've had schools forever, why all of a sudden do we have so many children that are just becoming, and I'm going to be extreme and I would never want to call children villains, but just to kind of step out of that, why all of a sudden do we have these kind of, villainous children going in and wanting to light up a school? That is right there should tell you that something is wrong within the school, within the parenting, within, not just parenting, but within the system.
Within society, yeah.
Within society. I mean, and I can tell you this exactly. I was a bully in school in 7th grade. I was publicly removed from school and transferred to a private school. So I fully understand what some of these kids are going through when you have no way of outlet. And I will be very direct. It all started with the anti-bullying, and I know that. Well,
Dani, that's fantastic. We're actually running out of time. Before we run out of time, though, I want to make sure that you give out what's your website. Now, of course, we haven't endorsed you yet. No endorsements. We're still getting to know you, but I would love your questionnaire, and I've loved our conversation. So, if people do want to learn more about you and possibly support you, where would they go?
They would go to vote. They would go to walkerforcitycouncil.com. That's my email. I would absolutely love for anybody who wants to reach out to please message me. I want to hear from everyone and just, kind of hear your experiences, especially if you're in District 3.
So Walker, WALKERFOR.
City Council, yes.
Walker4citycouncil.com. Check her out.
Yes,
and by the way, I want to thank the anti-gun groups out there who actually have our name in their questionnaire, and that's how Dani found us. She reached out to us and said, hey, the anti-gun groups are afraid that that I have anything to do with you, and it sounded interesting, so I wanted to reach out to you, which I think is an extremely extremist position on their part, that they won't even talk to or they won't even consider endorsing
of course not.
A candidate that we could agree on anything is far beyond that. But anyway, Dani, thank you so much for coming. Very much appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a great Sunday. Bye.
All right. Well, I heard that Texas drawl in there. Did you guys hear that little Texas drawl slip out? She was doing really good, too. All right. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The Answer.
Welcome back. This is Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170. We are
the answer.
I almost forgot. You weren't here last week. Screwed me all up.
Yeah, right.
This segment is brought to you by Gasky, Dillon & Balance, LLP. Boy, if you ever need help with guns, cafirearmslaw.com, cafirearmslaw.com. And another great new sponsor, A.O. Sword Gun Store. Go to www.aosword.com. You will definitely get taken care of like as if you're family. All right, so what do we got this segment, guys? Hello?
This segment, guys. Oh, well. Cool.
4:30, that should be John Dillon.
Johnny's calling in.
John, how you doing, Hot Rod?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Living the dream. How come you're not here?
I'm busy working away on the weekend instead of having fun with you guys.
Yeah. How's that lawsuit coming?
Good. There's going to be some movement on it, both of them, probably this coming week, so stay tuned for that. But I can't talk about it too much in detail today.
Right.
But yeah, they're proceeding and going well so far. How are you guys doing?
Living the dream.
All right. Well, there's one subject that I want to talk about with regard to family transfers in California. But before that, I just, a quick shout out to all the people that attended the Washington, D.C. Second Amendment rally this weekend. There was a large Second Amendment rally at the Capitol, and a lot of big people in the gun world were there to show support for the Second Amendment rights. So
we had a reporter on the ground. We actually had a reporter on the ground, John. He's going to stay tuned. The last or second to last segment.
Last segment.
Last segment. So the 5:45 segment, we're actually going to have a report from someone who was live there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you go?
I've been seeing the posts. No, I wasn't able to go just because I've been working. But I've been following along on everyone's posts and seeing it, and it just looks like it was a really great success, and I look forward to hearing about it.
Well, we need to have more of those.
Yeah, really.
Oh,
so what else? So what good news have you got?
Well, it's not good news or bad news. It's just information. So this is a question that comes up a lot, and people don't really know all the facts of. But in California, essentially every type of firearm transfer requires background checks, DROSes, and all sorts of stuff. However, there is still one transfer that is, considered acceptable without having to go to a gun shop FFL for the transfer, and that would be called intrafamilial transfers, or transfers from father to son, father to daughter, daughter to father, mother to son, direct line descendant type stuff. But basically, these days, for a long time, and up till 2014, there are certain transfers, between, parents to kids or grandparents to kids, didn't require any paperwork. You could just transfer your firearm to your kid as long as they weren't prohibited, and there wasn't a big deal. However, as of 2014, you do have to file some paperwork at the very least when it comes to making these family transfers, and that's what they call the firearm operation of the law, or interfamilial transfer form. These days, you can either download the form and print it off of Google, or you can go on the dreaded CFARS webpage that the DOJ has. I believe that there's a link for the form as well. But essentially nowadays, if I have a son or a daughter that I want to transfer a firearm to, you're not actually required to go to an FFL, but you do have to fill out one of these forms in order to lawfully transfer the firearm. Big things to remember. Obviously, the person receiving the firearm can't be prohibited. The person receiving the gun also has to have a firearm safety certificate. So you have to get those generally at gun shops or gun stores that are certified to issue those. It's a 30-question multiple-choice test, which generally, with good safety knowledge, you should be able to pass. But you basically can get one of these forms, fill it out with all the necessary information regarding your firearm and who it's going to, and you mail that in to the DOJ with a $19 check. And then the gun is now yours, and it's registered to you, and you're good to go.
But it has to be, I just want to emphasize something you said earlier, it has to be a direct line. It can't come from an uncle or an aunt or a cousin.
Yeah,
it's got to go
and
up
even,
and down.
Yeah, and even step parents and all that kind of stuff, that's not going to work. So like father to son, mother to son, direct line, grandparents to grandkids are fine. But yeah, think of your family tree. If it's not a direct line up and down, then it's not going to work. So that's the big key to always remember on that. And there are ways to do these transfers when your parents live out of state. Similar form is, actually in those cases, if you're transferring a firearm from out of state from a family member, like mother or father, you're going to have to go through an FFL. But when both the mother and the son are California residents, you can just fill out this form.
So let me ask you
rather than going down to a shop.
Let me ask you a couple of scenario questions. First off, by the way, is there a year that, like if this transfer happened before a certain year, then you don't have to worry about going back and doing this paperwork?
Yeah, so the law is not retroactive. So let's say you were, an adult and your father transferred you a gun, 15 years ago, and it was lawful to do so then with no paperwork. You don't have to go back now and register that firearm. There's no law that requires that. The original transfer was a legal transfer that was made. You don't have to go back and say, and now I need to do the paperwork.
What is that year? Was
technically registered.
Was it 2013?
It depends on whether we're talking about handguns or long guns, rifles, shotguns. As of January 1st, 2014, that's when all long guns needed paperwork as well.
Okay, so 2014 for handguns, and then I think it's 2017 for long guns?
No, 2014 for long guns.
Oh, 2014 for long guns. Okay, my apologies. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we were talking about out of state. So let's say mom and dad live out of state, adult child lives in California, and they want to transfer a firearm. Maybe it's a gift. Maybe it's whatever, for whatever reason. So they should send that firearm to a California FFL, and then the California resident has to go through the DROS system, just like they're purchasing a firearm new?
Yeah, so you do it just like going to a gun shop and buying a gun. Your mom or dad that lives out of state, they would ship the firearm to the FFL. I would recommend you have some, paperwork and information on it to where if it's a gift, so you can identify it as a gift and say, this is a gift to my son, and, maybe have a driver's license, copied onto that thing just for good, record purposes. But they'll ship it to the FFL. The FFL does the same 4473 DROS background check that they would do with any firearm purchase. And you can, you do that and you get your gun. The thing is with these, family transfers, they're generally they're generally roster exempt when it comes to handguns. So, if there's no issue with, your dad who lives out of state gifting you or, giving you a gun.
That's the $1 million question right there. Is even if the firearm is not on the safe handgun roster. For those who don't know, there is a safe handgun roster in California, and if a pistol is not listed on that, you can't buy it from a dealer, but you can buy it from a private party, or you can get it as a gift. So,
the family transfers are generally exempt from the roster requirements, and that's why it's okay to have a non-roster firearm be transferred among, father to son type thing.
So if mom and dad live in Arizona and they decide that, hey, they want to give their California adult, child, that's not right, adult kid, or, what am I trying to say? Adult.
Their son or daughter.
If they want to give them a really cool gift, like a Glock 42 or a Glock 43 or a SIG 365. Well, these are handguns they can't buy in California from a dealer, but if mom and dad decide, hey, I want to give them a really cool gift, they can purchase it, send it to an FFL in California, and then they take possession of it after a background check and a fee and a 10-day wait period, right?
Yeah, and I just have to say, I know it's tempting to those people, but this isn't a way to skirt the law or try to get around roster exempt stuff. It's just it's a perk between, the gifts between family members. So just
there's just no law
they
against
have to
it.
be infrequent. Yeah, but the transfers are technically supposed to be infrequent, which generally means 6 or fewer transactions in a year. So it's not gonna look very good if your parents are gifting you 60 guns a year that are all off roads.
Yeah, right.
But that would be illegal. I mean, because
that would not be good.
So you unless
general gifts of your mom or dad wanting to get you a cool gift, a cool gun because you're a gun guy, you're into guns. The roster doesn't apply, and they can gift that to you. And generally, most FFLs in the state of California are up to date and understand that law and the transfer, the paperwork involved, and they know what to do. Yeah. So you should be all set.
Because as long as it's fewer than 6, if it's more than 6, they have to be a licensed dealer. That's the law there.
Yeah,
right?
then you're getting into the other licensing requirements. But the general gift for your birthday or Christmas or something like that, you're good to go.
Good to go. Fewer than 6, totally legal.
All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic, John. Thank you very, very much. I sure appreciate it. cafirearmslaw.com. Check out John Dillon. He'll be more than happy to help you out of any of your sticky wickets. Right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Welcome back to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
This segment is brought to you by the Gun Range San Diego. www.thegunrangesandiego.com. It's your Nordstrom's of gun ranges, 7 days a week, 10 to 10. Can't beat these guys. You got to go down, take the family, take your coworkers, go down. If you've never shot before, they'll take care of you like family. If you're a long-time shooter, it's the same thing. You'll never have a problem with those folks. They are absolutely the best. Also, Firearms Legal. What's the best defense for self-defense and those horrible new red flag laws? Firearms Legal Protection. Like Lance and I use them. Firearms Legal Protection is the legal defense program for lawful gun ownership with a 24/7 emergency hotline and plans designed specifically for firearm owners. Firearm Legal Protection is the best legal protection for self-defense. You need to be ready if that knock on the door comes to take your guns away using red flag laws. Talk to the good folks at Firearms Legal Protection today. That's Firearms Legal Protection at www.firearmslegal.com, or you can call them at 469-310-9100. That's 469-310-9100. And we also have another new sponsor. We got John Groff. And John, where did I do with it? I think I've lost it. Oh, no, I lost it. Where did it go? John Groff. Must be on this page 37.
Look at Dave.
CCW instructor from the gun range.
Yeah, CCW. Yeah. There you go. He goes to CCW training, and you can't beat it. If you're looking for really good quality training, it's John Groff, CCW training. Do you have his phone number?
Yeah, with all the CCWs being issued now, go see John. He does individual training right there at the Gun Range San Diego. He could be reached at 619-933-4368. 619-933-4368. Just ask for John Groff, individual CCW training. He's a wonderful man. I got my training from him.
Did you really?
I sure did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Good guy. It's been around forever. A retired law enforcement.
All right. Fantastic. All right. So, hey, we got our good buddy. We got Casey today, right?
We got Casey on the line.
How you doing, Case?
Pretty good. How's everybody holding up?
Excellent.
Beautiful.
Good to hear.
Sunday.
You're darn right it was. Yeah, it's been range has been hot all day. Yesterday we were absolutely slammed. We were hitting about almost an hour wait.
Holy man.
Really?
It stayed like that the entire day. People wanted to shoot, so we accommodated everybody as best we can. Luckily, everybody has a lot of patience around here, so that's good. And we just got everybody in there the entire day. So we haven't had quite a busy day like that in a while, so it's, good business for us. And Sunday's usually a little lower for football, but we've been on a full range the entire day. And we'll be here 10 to 10 every single day if anybody wants to come down and shoot.
Well, they need to, man. And too many people still have their firearms in their closet or in their gun safe or whatever. They just don't use them enough. They don't practice enough. So you got to get them out and use them. And, go see our good friends at the Gun Range San Diego and take those things out. Put some optics on them, Get them suited
Absolutely.
up.
I had a guy calling me earlier asking about what type of optics you should put on his firearm. I was like, hey, man, as long as you got some compliant stuff, bring it in here. We'll throw a couple on there and see which one you like. And that's the thing about us, especially, we're a smaller private shop. We get to do a lot more stuff that the corporations, like, I'm not going to say names out there, but corporations, they don't get as much leeway because they're just swamped left and right. Us, on the sales side, we get a lot more personal with people. I have customers that I recognize, I know them first name basis because they come in just because they love dealing with us. We're here to pick everybody's brains, and at the same time, we're here to, basically inform everybody of the ever-so-changing laws out here and give our honest opinions about certain firearms and whatnot, because the perks of us having the rental range here is we'll put a lot of these newer firearms, all the, the hot new items out there on the range, and we'll put them to the test, and we'll see how they run.
And you guys did a fantastic job a couple weeks ago when we had the UCSD Marksmanship Club. Jimmy,
absolutely,
UCSD has started a marksmanship club, and we had them all out there with mentors, and basically you guys opened up the shop early for us. Casey, you were there bright and early.
Yes, sir.
And leading the charge and getting them all excited. And I think you even brought. What did you bring? Was it a SCAR or what did?
No, that was my LWRC. That was my Nice Boy AR.
Nice.
So, yep, I let a lot of those guys shoot that, and it's just a thing of sharing the wealth of knowledge and just getting people more comfortable with firearms, because there's always that stigmatism about firearms are bad. When I'm in there instructing people and teaching them, the first thing I ask them, are you afraid of guns? And some people say no or yes, and I will literally grab the gun and bang it on the table and be like, look, this is not going to do anything unless you pull the trigger and give them the whole spiel, and it just kind of brings a sense of rationality down to it that this is a tool. This is a tool. This is a inanimate object that if used properly, everything will be fine. If it used improperly, bad things can happen. Not necessarily they will, but they can happen.
That always cracks me up.
It's just getting people used to the whole thing about it. There's so many people are afraid of this piece of metal, and then I always ask them, hey, are you afraid of your car? They're like, no. I'm like, well, imagine that. More people die from cars than guns, so...
It always cracks me up how people treat their firearms, and it is. It's like a wrench or a hammer. I mean, it's just some metal parts put together. I was in a shotgun class for a few days a few years ago, and we all had our shotguns on the rack, and it started to rain, and like half the class went running over to protect their shotgun. Like, what is it, made of candy? I mean, what it's just it's a little bit of rain here, guys. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, it is. It's a tool.
Yeah, they're like Lance and I. They don't want to clean it.
I take it.
We got to take it to the gun range San Diego and get it cleaned.
They clean mine.
There you go. Yeah, it's like the tools of the trade. Like in my time in the military, I was in a boat company, and our job was to swim. So I would swim in, about 1,000 meters at night with my rifle, with an M4, with a grenade launcher on it. Nice. And my job was to swim and then crawl up through the sand in the beach. My firearm was filthy. Absolutely. But it was a tool of the trade. That's what I was expecting it to do. Would it always run? Absolutely, because I took care of it. But
yeah, there you go.
You have all these, don't get me wrong, there are some Safe Queens out there that are awesome guns that you're just like, you know what? This is just a gun I want to pass down through my generations. Do I still want to shoot it? Heck yeah, I do. Am I going to abuse it like my Glock 19 or anything like that? No. Because, some of those guns, I understand, they're the family heritage, or you can't get them anymore. I get that. But the rest of your firearms that, you're carrying on a daily basis, ones that you are planning to protect your life with, train with it. Abuse it. It can take it.
Yeah, you got to get on YouTube. Just like I was talking to John Groff, he's one of our advertisers for the CCW, and John was exactly right. A lot of people that have CCW, once they get their license and whatnot, they really don't train that much, and you just you have to keep going back.
Yeah, that's, and especially when it comes to being a CCW holder, just because you have one doesn't mean you're a good shot. In all honesty, I've seen some of the people like here, like, I have my CCW and I'll watch them shoot. I'm like, it's true. It's 100% true. When people get complacent, firearm shooting is a perishable skill. If you're not out there at least training, once a week, once a month, at least actively doing dry runs or anything, you're going to get rusty. There's no answer.
I know. I will yank on the trigger. What ends up happening? Well, so I will yank on the trigger. I could tell if I haven't been training. I got to back down and just.
Well, as soon as I get my CCW, I'm done with training because I'll be able to shoot. I'll be able to shoot like great. Because
I'll rise to the occasion.
Like we'll have people come in. They're like, I've been shooting for 40 years, and I'll watch them shoot, and I'm like, I think the last time you shot was about 40 years ago. Looking at your grouping, we're not here to make fun of people or anything like that. But when you're coming into a gun range and whatnot, eat a little piece of humble pie before you come in. All of us here, we shoot every single day. We are honing our skills because this is our job. We're supposed to be the experts at this. If people have any questions, comments, concerns, just let us know. We keep range officers in the range for a reason. It's not just to maintain peace and good order. Pick our brains. Hey, I'm shooting a little left. What can I do? A lot of people always blame the sights, this and that. No, it's your trigger finger. You're put a little bit too much meat on the trigger there. So we're there to pick people's brains. It comes down to that range etiquette that we have in here. Like the biggest ones is, just because you shot on a gun range before doesn't mean every single gun range has the same rules. People that come in here, they read our rules, and we make sure everybody does, just because in an indoor gun range, it's a little bit smaller. We have our rules for a reason. The other day we had an ND behind the line. Luckily, it was nobody in the range. It was a private event. No injuries, no nothing. But it's for that exact reason. There's no accidents in there. And you can say it's an accident, but because of your negligence, in the firearm world, that could take somebody's life.
Yeah.
Well, joking Casey, about it,
And that was one of the, I think one of the great features you guys have at your range, having an RSO back there all the time.
Absolutely.
Because, a lot of the ranges don't do that. And I know the ranges where I train, I intentionally try to go there when there's not a whole lot of people because, I trust myself, but you never know who's going to be in there.
True.
And it's nice to have a safety officer back there keeping an eye on everything.
Absolutely.
So that's a really great feature you guys have.
On the weekends, like yesterday, we were a little bit short-staffed because we had people catching that flu or that bug that's going around. So we only had 2 guys in the range. But, when it's us in there and we're very experienced on it, we can do it. Just give us a little bit of patience. We'll be there to help you clear a jam or something within a minute. But the perks of us having the range set up this way is because we care about everybody's safety, and especially us being a rental range, we have people that have never seen a gun before in their life, and the last thing we want to do is say, okay, here's a gun, good luck.
Yeah, let me know how it works out.
Exactly, it'd be absolutely terrifying. And it's not only just the new shooters, it's people that are, I've had this gun, 5 years, I've only shot a couple times. Can you help me out? Absolutely.
The rule.
The rules are here for a reason. Read them front and back, understand what we expect on our range. If people violate the rules, don't be surprised when we correct you on it. Now, we're not going to come up screaming in your face unless it's absolutely necessary to take charge of a situation. But we're very peaceable about it. It's like, hey, just a reminder. You don't carry your guns around behind people. You keep them up in the booth at all times. You can load your mags behind the line. That's fine. As long as all the guns are up in the booth, facing downrange, we're good. It's the simple rules, but sometimes people get a little heated on it. It's like, look, these are what we require on our range for a reason. It's not an inconvenience to you. It's a simple rule. Just don't have guns behind people. It makes everybody a little bit more peaceable.
All right, go shoot something.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
I'm actually I'm off the clock now. I'm heading home.
All right, well, have fun. Hey, folks, we're going to let go. But, hey, guess what? We're coming back. We want to thank TD Construction, CCW USA, U.S. Law Shield, Cali Key, PRMI Mortgage for sure. And we want to thank Gasky, Dillon, and Balance, LLP, A.O. Sword Gun Store, the Gun Range San Diego, right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.